Hello!
Hello and welcome back to another Fun Fact Friday!
Before the advent of social media, posting your baby meant that you needed more than just a camera and a good connection.
You also needed someone you could trust and a whole infrastructure to support it.
Fun Fact Friday, week 142.
Posting your baby was a thing before social media.
No, we're not talking about some hipsters who were using Facebook before Friendster began.
Or used to send photos of their babies over ARPANET.
We're talking pre-internet, way back at the dawn of a new offering from the United States Postal Service.
In 1913, the US Postal Service allowed Americans to send parcels that weighed up to 11 pounds or 5 kilos.
It was a service that was in high demand, and in the early years before regulations were set in place, people shipped all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Over the early years, there were reports of babies being posted with stamps attached to their clothing and riding on trains to their destinations accompanied by postal carriers.
One of those reports was a mail carrier, Vernon O'Little, on rural route number 5.
He was the first man to accept and deliver a live baby under postal conditions.
The baby boy weighed a few ounces under the 11-pound weight limit and was being delivered to his grandmother a mile away.
It cost 15 cents and was insured for $50.
Then there was the report of Maud Smith, a 30-pound 3-year-old.
She was posted wearing a pink dress at a cost of 33 cents on the 31st of August 1915.
She was accepted to be put on a train to her destination, even though the clerk responsible doubted its legality.
He wrote a note to the receiving postmaster explaining his predicament. Dear sir, baby received 8:15 by the postmaster in person. I doubt the legality of this sending, but was put on the train and I must deliver and report.
Sending babies and children by mail was far from a common occurrence, and many of the documented incidences were publicity stunts.
Or instances of people who knew their postal workers and asked them to carry their babies a relatively short distance to some nearby relatives.
In the case of train journeys, children listed as male could get away without having to pay the fare.
And many of the pictures of postal workers with babies in their mailbags were staged purely for the photo opportunity.
Whilst at first glance this practice may seem incredibly odd, it acts as an indication of the trust that people had for early mail workers and how well respected they were in their local communities.
They became intrinsic parts of their communities, allowing distant friends and family to keep in touch. They were the bearers of both good and bad news.
And this was especially true in the rural areas, where they were often the only visitors some would get for days on end.
Over the years, similar stories came up from time to time as people pushed the limits of what they could send.
There was a flurry of articles in the papers of the day just months after the introduction of the parcel service stating that the postmaster had officially decreed that children could no longer be sent in the mail.
However, posting babies was never really allowed in the first place. It was clearly stated that the regulations of the time that the only live creatures permitted to travel via the US Postal Service were bees and bugs.
Luckily for those of us who live in the social media age, posting your baby no longer involves stamps and faith in the postal service.
But a quick snap, a tap, and your little one is instantly transported into the palms, pockets and homes of anyone and everyone who cares to see your doting little bundle of joy.
Vernon O'Light. Is it light?
Little.
Oh, little. Sorry.
Spelled a bit different, isn't it?
Shall I start that again?
Yep.
Vernon O'Light on a rural...
You said it again.
Light. Little. Vernon O'Little on a rural route number 5.
Woohoo! She said it right. How about on rural route?
On, well, I know,
Not
I did
A.
it. I did that the first time as well. I was really annoying myself.
Are you okay with the English language today? No.
It's not my strongest language.
What other languages do you speak?
None. Vernon O'Little on rural route... I hate this sentence.
It's one of the shortest sentences you
I know. We're talking pretty... Just the apprehension now of you doing something twattish.
To some nearby, I'm running out of breath. I've got all nervous.
I'm not. I'm buzzing. Are you ready?
No, I'm still nervous. I got all fluttery in my tummy.
Oh.
Thank you for joining us for another Fun Fact Friday. We need your help to plant more small acorns and reach more people.
Please like, comment and share to show you care. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe and get alerts for a new fun fact every Friday.
We'll see you next week.